Do I have a motion to have the town's attorney proceed in the, proceed in the ejectment filing on the residence in question on Sunderland Hill Road?
I'll make a motion that we have the lawyer send the eviction notice.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion carried, so our lawyer will send the eviction filing, and they will be served this week. Okay. Okay, moving on. Public comment. Yes, if you have a comment, please, you don't have to stand, but please state your name and go from there. Yes, no.
Mel Giulio, and I just want to comment that executive session you guys just had for that specific thing, I received an email earlier, maybe last week about, seems like maybe there's a number of people that received an email that were encouraged to come to this meeting to discuss that. And it would have been great if we could have public comment before you went into executive session. It feels like it kind of lacks the opportunity for the town to weigh in a little bit. And saying that, I'd still like to kind of follow through with why I'm here. And I guess I was really curious, what kind of things we have done to help and support the folks that we're now planning to evict, rather than just have this kind of what feels to me like a witch hunt to evict people. So I understand you can't answer that. I'm not looking for a response. I don't want to share that.
No, that's fine.
Would have been great to have gotten that opportunity before the executive session.
Correct, and not to get on you, but there has been other opportunities. This has been on the agenda at each of our past meetings
Since May.
since May.
Okay.
This has gone on, the reason we're doing it, because I'm also in, I don't want to have to, the property is in the town's name. And we have been trying, go ahead,
Rose Keogh. First, we went through what was called the tax sale process. The town bought the property at tax sale. So at the end of the year redemption period, the select board at that time decided to meet with the people and give them the opportunity to have a payment plan to redeem their property. Well, I have to say they were very good about making their payments for their past taxes. However, they did not keep the agreement because they did not pay next year's taxes. And I personally think they went overboard to try to assist this family into keeping their homestead. But now they just ignore us. Something has to be done, it can't be just let go. If that's the case, I don't want to pay my taxes.
Yeah.
I guess a question, Jeff Dexter. Which property, again, I hadn't followed it as closely either, but which property are we talking? Either the name of the street, the number of the street, or the name, whatever you can.
I'm not sure the number, it's the fourth house before you get to the, on the left-hand side before you get to the transfer station.
Okay. So by the bridge, obviously.
Before the bridge.
Near there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a bunch of stuff.
Okay, yeah, we know, well, I know which you're talking about.
And it was not easy for the board to decide this.
Well, I'm sure it took a lot of, since May, and I'm sure.
Well, actually, I looked through, we've been going through this since at least 2015, 2016.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm Gordon Dossett, and I was at the previous meeting on this issue. And I want to thank the board for moving forward on this. I think there's a couple of issues at stake here. One is that the town owns the property. The second is just the way that the whole property looks, especially as you're coming right into Sunderland. You know, it's one thing when people they don't have a lot of means, but to have all of their things just strewn out like that, I think it sets a bad example for the whole town. And I think there's some reasonable expectation of us living in a small place like this, that we look after each other and try to uphold things and do what's right by our neighbors. So I appreciate your acting in this. I don't think it was an easy decision. But from my understanding of the background of this, they've had multiple opportunities. And the town has really bent over backward to try to help these people, which I think is commendable that you've done it. So I'm pleased to hear that you're moving forward with it. Thank you.
anybody else? Yes,
Eric Hansen, Precinct 38 North Road. I was just curious as to, assuming whatever it is to happen in 30 days happens, what are the town's plans for said property?
as soon as everybody's gone, we've already been in contact with Casellas to have a dumpster placed there, and we have volunteers that are gonna go in, clean it up.
You're gonna raise the building then?
Prob- I don't know what we're gonna do with the, yeah, could be, we'll see. But first thing is getting rid of all the garbage. That's first and foremost.
Yeah, I think the board needs to check with legal counsel
Yeah.
to see
Yeah, we'll check with the
how
lawyers.
quickly we can either get rid of the building or sell the whole thing or whatever. The town does have a few options there, but I would suggest
Yeah, we'll get with our
legal counsel.
legal counsel before we do any of that. First thing that we can, what we know we can do is go in, clean up what's around the outside. But as far as anything with the building, we'll check with the lawyer.
May I just follow up on that? So is one possibility just leaving the land open and not building anything on it, just having the town keep the land?
Possible.
That's possible, but I mean, we could put it up, sell it so that we don't have to be responsible for it. But yes,
I do want to make sure everyone realizes that if the town does sell this property, the town's not allowed to make money. Any excess dollars would go to the original owner. So it's not a money-making thing for the town.
But if I may, forgive me, Rose, that was essentially the premise of the question. For example, a thought of mine is to approach Adam Wilcox, who owns the field on the other side of the tracks behind this property, to see if he's interested in maintaining that frontage on the road. He's not a organic or biodynamic or regenerative farm, but I'm sure that he'd be interested in at least hearing from the board as to what the plans are. Forgive him for not showing up, but it might be something worthwhile to say he would maintain it for no charge if it has some sort of buffer between his field and the road.
There you're looking at a liability. If the town still owns it and has somebody else maintaining it without paying them, then you have a liability. So it really gets very confusing.
Give him a number. I mean, my point is to bring him into the conversation as the landowner who owns a very large parcel immediately adjacent to this, aside, save for the tracks, of
Yeah.
course. it might be worthwhile bringing him into the conversation.
Yeah, we'll put it out there, we'll have it announced. Anybody else? Okay,